Hey everybody, Alex Kazor, SteelersDepot.com, back for our weekly Talk to the Tape segment. Really excited about this one. It's going to focus on one of my favorite topics, one of my favorite areas to look at, special teams. And I went back through my YouTube channel since we started doing these, about mid-season, and I don't think I've done one on special teams yet. All the focus either on scheme or individual play of the offense or defense. Nothing on special teams yet, though, and so I think with how well overall this unit performed against the Chiefs and holding Tyreek Hill in check, and that was the big thing. We're not going to touch on Boswell's kicking, although that was fantastic, but I don't have the knowledge to accurately break down a kicker's performance for the operation of the kick. But the big thing that most of us will talk about with the special teams in this game, aside from Boswell, is just the coverage unit. And, it's an 11-man job. Everyone has to, you know, uh, have the responsibility and fill their gap and not get out of their gap and make the tackle and get off blocks and get downfield in time and all that comes with special teams. But there was one guy that really stood out in special teams in this game in the coverage unit, and that's Vince Williams. And he's kind of been that core special teamer, one of the few guys that's been healthy all season long. I mean, he's still dealing with a shoulder injury. Tomlin keeps mentioning him every week, so he's not even completely healthy, but he's been out there every single game this season, and he played such a large role. Tomlin mentioned him in Tuesday's press conference. I think Williams finished officially with 2 tackles, and so that's who we're going to look at today. It's just kind of his impact, and it's not always just who made the tackle. That isn't. There's influence of being able to shift the return and move the return guy, just like playing run defense. If you're the force defender in run defense and you turn the run back inside, we're going to see elements of that today, and we'll go into more detail here in a second. But that's kind of our goal today, is just to appreciate really solid special teams play from Vince Williams, who's one of my favorite guys to watch. It's probably him and Rosie Nix on the special teams unit. I don't care if it's a touchback. I don't care if the ball goes out of bounds. I'm watching the whole thing. I'm watching those guys. I'm seeing if bodies are flying. We're going to see a couple of bodies flying today. So first one here is the second kickoff after the squib kick, which was a blunder in so many ways. I have the post about it on Steelers Depot. Just total screw up. The ball didn't bounce. The right side of the unit down here had no idea the ball was kicked. It was miscommunication. Total disaster. You can go check it out on Steelers Depot. This is when things started to get good, and the tide was turned. So we're gonna look from the end zone angle here, and here's Vince Williams at his what is that, L5 spot down here. And a big thing about kick coverage is you have to pretend like you're a pass rusher. You got to stay clean. You can't get engaged. Your feet's got to keep moving. You got to be moving forward. You can't get stuck on blocks. You got to have that pass rusher's mentality. That's why some of those guys, like let's say Rosie Nix, who played defensive line in college, is so good at special teams because he has a pass rusher's mentality. He knows how to use his hands. He knows how to stay clean. Now Vince Williams doesn't have really that whole background, but he's a physical dude that just really honed his craft well. So there's Vince Williams coming down. They're going to get that 2-man wedge here. Here's the fullback, Anthony Sherman. So he's used to blocking guys through the hole, and Williams is going to be able to duck him, force Tyreek Hill to the right, and then finish that play with a really, really violent hit. We'll run the whole thing through so you can get a good feel for the actual impact on the hit, which I'm sure you guys saw during the game. But that's your guy. Defeat the block, stay clean, run around him. Didn't have to go through him. Take away Hill's angle. He's got to go to the right now. That's a good angle by Williams to turn that to the right and then finish that with a really big hit. Jarvis Jones down there as well. The unit in general wasn't too different than usual. Mike Mitchell was on the unit. He was L1. That's new. They flipped Jarvis Jones to L3 to replace, I think, Anthony Chickillo. And then Arthur Moats came on this unit to replace Fitzgerald Toussaint. Moats is one of those two guys over here on the right side. But overall, the faces were pretty much the same. Guys get shifted a little bit. It was just execution. And Vince Williams, again, that tone setter. I mean, you see him going crazy. You see Rosie Nix going crazy. They are the two tone setters of special teams. And I think they kind of get the whole group going. I'm sure when the defense sees stuff like that, they get going as well. So it's a great way to start it. Chiefs start the drive on their own 12. What they end up punting, I think. Yeah, end up punting the football a couple plays later. So that's a great way to start the drive and force the Chiefs offense to go 88 yards if they want to score. Next one, again, we're going to see basically almost every kickoff here. This is a fun one. This is a touchback, and you know, there's only a couple guys that I've ever watched in my admittedly short time kind of watching this stuff that make me change the way that I watch the game. Not just appreciate a good player, because there's been so many of those that we've seen, but just literally change what goes through my mind when I watch a game. And one of those guys is Rosie Nix, and you could probably throw Vince Williams in there as well, because even on a touchback, which I would 2 years ago would just kind of skirt through, and okay, if I have the names written down already of who's on the unit, I'm not going to watch the play because it's touchback. You think nothing happens. But there's still physicality. There's still those car crashes that happen on this unit of guys wanting to be physical and hurt somebody and just finish the play. And so I don't know if you saw it there. I'm going to run this back, but this is why I like watching touchbacks too. Sometimes the return unit gets a little lax because they don't think the ball's coming out. I'm trying to find who the unfortunate victim was here. Here's Vince Williams down here, and you're going to see him. I think that's Daniel Sorensen, who's a linebacker safety hybrid. And Williams is just going to go after him. It does not matter. Once he realizes that that ball is going to be out of the end zone almost, and Hill's not returning this one, I mean, he's just going after his guy. And he's going to just get a good shoulder into him, and then Nix is going to clean it up, and we get, I think, a better look from the aerial view. And that's what I mean. Just, going hard every play, whether it's a touchback or a return, set the tone, make your impact felt. I'm going to pause it here real quick just so you guys can see. There's Vince right there. One of these two is Sorensen. Just keep an eye on this. There's the contact. There's Rosie Nix coming in. There's a dude on the ground. It's a tag team. It's some WWE stuff, and I love it. So again, just watch it down here. Here's Vince with the contact. Rosie's coming in. He's gonna finish things up. I'll play it through each angle one more time. Just because that's tone setting, man. That's being physical. That's whenever there's the next ball that comes out, Sorensen's looking at him like, oh man, I don't want to get destroyed again. You're setting some fear in that. I think Dangerfield even saw it. It gets the whole unit hyped. I absolutely love it. One of the biggest hits I've ever seen came last year against Oakland. Again, there's Nix. There's the contact there. Dangerfield sees it. You see from the aerial view as well. One of the guy on the ground, you know who did it. One of the biggest hits I've ever seen was last year against Oakland. It was a touchback, but and I missed it because this was me. Just it was a touchback. Not gonna even watch it. But Rosie Nix posted it to his Instagram account like 2 months later, a month and a half later, of him just destroying linebacker Ben Heaney. I mean, the biggest hit you've ever seen. And Heaney's actually talked about it before and said that's the biggest hit he's ever taken. There was some feature piece on special teams guys. I don't remember the context, don't remember the article, but he said that was the biggest hit. He didn't mention Nix by name, I don't think, but he said he got lit up on one touchback or something like that, and I knew immediately the play he was talking about. So you can have an impact and you can assert yourself even on a touchback, and they're really fun to watch. And now I watch every touchback as closely as any other play because I want to see if anyone's on the ground. So I know we spent a lot of time talking about a touchback there, and I have a feeling this video is going to be pretty long, but man, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's an underappreciated part of the game, just special teams in general. And I know the Steelers special teams have not been very good this year, but there's still a whole lot to learn from it. So now we're going to get to an actual return. Another great stop by the Steelers here. And we'll let this thing run through. Okay, here we go. I was just making sure I had the right play and had my place. Yeah, there's Vince Williams right here. Now he's not going to make the tackle here, so you're not going to see this on a box score. But what I really like here, because this is a return that's designed to go to the Chiefs' left, the Steelers' right. You see the way the wedge is set up, the off returner is set up. There's no one over here. The whole return's supposed to go to this side. And they have some blocks set up, and obviously Hill's a danger, and if they get that wall kind of created, Hill's a big threat to take it. The one man who can kind of stop this is the guy in the middle, Vince Williams. He's the I don't know what you want to call it, the margin. Probably not the right word, but he's the divider of the return, the way the return wants to go, and the way the return does not want to go, because there's one guy over here for four of them. And what Williams is able to do is just take a really good angle, and he's going to turn this back. Again, like I said earlier, it's like playing the run. It's like being the force defender, the edge guy on a run play, where you're going to be able to set that edge and turn that guy inside to your help. It's identical. It's just special teams versus, defense. And now Hill can't go the way the return wants it to go. He's got to come back. And now Jarvis Jones has gotten off his block. And you got three other Steelers here: Jordan Dangerfield, Sammy Coates, and Mike Mitchell, and Williams as well, of course, all to converge on Tyreek Hill. So essentially, at this point, because this guy's lost his block, he's not going to be able to do much. He's going to risk a block in the back. A lot of times they get taught, if you're beat on your block, you miss your block, go find someone else, because you're just going to get a block in the back if you chase somebody. So essentially, you have five guys on Tyreek Hill, and that's the best way to try to stop Tyreek Hill, is to put five guys on him unblocked, and that gets turned back inside. Williams sets his hips. There's no way that ball's going the way it wants to, and now you got a whole convergence here at the 15-yard line. And those guys clean things up. Williams doesn't make the tackle here. Doesn't get the credit. I think it's Dangerfield. I don't remember who gets the credit on this play. Doesn't matter. Jarvis as well. But that's made by Vince Williams. If he gets stuck on his block, if this guy, that even might be Sorensen. That is Sorensen. That's the guy that he blew up before. Maybe this guy was a little more timid the second time around after getting lit up by him and Rosie Nix before. But, if Sorensen's able to establish his block, if Williams doesn't take that little kind of outside angle here and force that inside, if he's running straight, Hill's going to probably, challenge him to the return side here, because Hill's got the speed, and that's where that ball has to go. And he's going to potentially get a big play. You got a nice double team block here. You got the wedge set up. There's potential for that thing going a long way. That's all credit to Vince Williams. Those are the things that we're not going to see on a box score. We're rarely going to see talked about on TV, because the game's going so fast. Usually they're going to commercial break. It's not a sexy thing to talk about, but that's huge, and that's the impacts that a guy like Vince Williams can bring. All right, we'll try to get through these last couple a little quicker here, because I know I'm going long on the time, but you get me talking about special teams, and I don't get to talk about it too often, and usually it's been kind of bad things whenever we have talked about it. I get a little excited. So this is a tackle by Vince Williams. We'll kind of go through this one pretty quickly. Here he is right here. Again, just defeat the block, stay clean. He's not getting stuck. He's able to dip that shoulder and just chase Hill, force him, into a condensed area. Doesn't give Hill that two-way go, and makes a tackle. You got some other help there as well. Jarvis again was key. Jordan Dangerfield did a really nice job. Unit excited, creating energy, pinning them. Whether it's a 21-yard line here, it's probably might have been his best return all game. Tyreek Hill's best return. So just a really good job there to again defeat the block. You want to stay clean. We need to work fast. We got to get to our spot, and then make the tackle as well. All right, we're gonna look at a punt now. The only non-kickoff here that we're looking at, and this is a ball that goes out of bounds. Like I said, this is a Steelers punt here, Jordan Berry's punt. You can't, just because the ball goes out of bounds doesn't mean things don't happen. You got to watch everything. And I like watching some of the chaos sometimes. And this is just Vince Williams just being the tractor trailer, and everybody else is the bug on the windshield. So Williams is at his left tackle spot where he'll line up, which is where he's played, at least the last 2 years, probably even longer. I just keep track of the last 2 years. So, again, ball going out of bounds, not a whole lot to talk about here. Nix actually kind of screwed up his block on the wing. Luckily, that got off clean. But here's Williams. Just watch him. Just, again, tractor trailer. Chiefs are the bugs on the windshield. Just, that's the jammer that was at the top. We'll look at it from the aerial view. That's one of the jammers up there. He loses his footing. He doesn't even know where Williams is at. Just, not the biggest hit in the world, but just a nice little shove. Just going to throw you back into the ground. Just again, just asserting that dominance, being that tone-setting kind of guy. If there's somebody in my way, I'm not going to move out of his way. It's like a hockey player. It's like an enforcer. That's the guy I'm going to hit. I'm going to finish my check. And Chiefs do it too. You see DHB take a little tumble there. and he tries to get in this guy's face. I don't even know what chief it is. Trying to get in his face, that little fake clap to him, like, good job. I love that moment. DHB's been a little firecracker the last 2 weeks. He mixed it up against the Dolphins, and I think Michael Thomas said something to him. Here he is again. He's jawing with this guy. A little thumbs up for you. Did you see the little thumbs up? Just That's just the more sarcastic action that you could take to try to get in a guy's face. I love it though. Where's it at? Little thumbs up right there. Like, good job. Way to hit me when I wasn't looking and the ball was going out of bounds. So it works both ways, but DHB, I think he really wants a ring. Of course he does. He knows his career doesn't have the most time in the world. He's getting closer towards the end than the beginning. And the guy's fired up, and I love it. All right, last one. We'll try to go through this one pretty quick. Again, another is a touchback. Yeah, another touchback. So typically not a whole lot to look at, but Vince Williams has been killing the Chiefs all game long. They can't block him. Even if they put Sherman, who's a good blocker, Sorensen's been just destroyed and the will taken away from him. So now the Chiefs have to adjust. They gotta account for Vince Williams. They can't let him solo. He's been blowing everything up. He's been making tackles. He's been turning kicks away from where the kick needs to go. Dave Taub says, "All right, guys, we got to get rid of 98. We got to stop him." And this is like playing nose tackle. I mean, you can have so many things that are analogous to run defense to special teams coverage. So what do the Chiefs do? If you got a nose tackle that's beating every block, beating the center clean, getting penetration, blowing every run up, what do? You double team them. Same thing happens with Vince Williams here. There's Vince Williams. He's going to get the double team. Two guys focused on him. They are able to stop him and they get the touchback, but what does that do? Just in the way a nose tackle's double team, like what we saw with Casey Hampton did, it frees up everybody else. There's one less guy for the blocking team, the return team, to account for. Because now they're focused on their double team on Vince Williams. Now, generally speaking, every return team's going to double team somebody. They're going to double team the best coverage guy that the opponent has because they know they got to take care of him. But that's, they have to shift things the Chiefs do, and just the fact that you're able to track that double team means that somebody else isn't going to be blocked, and the Chiefs have to change their strategy and who they want to attack. And again, theoretically, could have put up everybody else. Matakevich comes down pretty clean here. Maybe that was just because they knew the ball was going to be taken a knee in the end zone. But you just see that impact. And again, not a box score thing. You're never going to see this in a box score. You're never going to see Vince Williams was double teamed because he was wrecking everything. But you're going to see the way teams adjust throughout the game because Williams is a dominant special teams player. Again, still apparently playing kind of hurt with that shoulder injury, but it does not change the way that he plays. And they're going to need him again Sunday. Dion Lewis. We talked a lot about Tyreek Hill, but Dion Lewis had a 98-yard kick return for a touchdown against the Texans last week. He's a small, shifty dude that can make some big plays and hurts a lot of teams in space, as he did the Texans. So they're going to have to be on their P's and Q's as well. Bill Belichick was the special teams coach, I'm like 99% sure of. So their units are always really strong and coached up all across the board. So this is hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. I absolutely love talking about this stuff. You just see the cause and effect and the impact that one guy can have on special teams. Again, it's an 11-man job. It's not just Vince Williams. Jarvis had a great game. Dangerfield did well. DHB is a staple on there. They put Mitchell out there, though he didn't have to end up actually do a whole lot. Artie Burns has stepped up. You can go through the whole list. Matakevich. I mean, I'm talking about every single guy at this point, but I think Vince Williams is one of the engines that makes things go. Rosie Nix is right there with him. Nix is one of my other favorite guys to watch. They make up some core special teamers. They are four-phase guys. They do everything. They put their hand in the pile. It's a lot of fun to watch. So thank you for indulging me at the least, and hopefully you enjoyed it as well and learned a little bit and appreciate special teams as much as I do. And when Vince Williams plays like that, and the whole unit as a whole, outside of that first kickoff flip with the miscommunication and everybody being late on the right side, they had a really strong day. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your comments and feedback either on the YouTube video or on Steelers Depot, and we will talk to you soon.